We're finally at the end of the road, for now, of covering NetherRealm Studios' super moves from the worst to the best. After 4 titles, 2 Mortal Kombat and 2 Injustice games, we're finally at the most requested title to be covered, Mortal Kombat 11. Today, we'll be ranking all 37 fatal blows from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, Whack Pack. My name is Nick, and welcome to or welcome back to the channel. Today, we're finally taking a look at Mortal Kombat 11 Supers, known as Fatal Blows. These are a different approach to the super moves. No longer do these highlight internal damage like the MKX and MK9 X-rays. These now highlight crazy combos with slow-mo shots to showcase the damage being done to the character. In my opinion, these are more cinematic and do a better job highlighting the character's skills, even if these would kill everyone on the roster. In return, it was also a nice treat to see these more in competitive play, as X-rays and other supers weren't shown off so much in tournaments. I knew this ranking would be a challenge to cover. All of these supers are presented super well and are a gory spectacle. Like all the other rankings, I won't be focusing on the utility or the damage as a major factor, more based on the presentation and how well it fits to the character, along with the cinematics and pacing. Also, I don't think any of these are bad, so I'll still have something positive to say no matter what. Also, there are 37 supers to review, so if there's one that is ranked low, I still think it's good. Alright, enough blabbering on. With that, let's get below 30% health and rank all 37 of the Mortal Kombat 11 Fatal Blows. In last place is the secret fighter from Mortal Kombat 2 and the best friend to Katana, Jade. It's just a cut down the back, a neck slice, and a stab to the head. At least it ends with Jade's shadow kick and includes some teleports to make it appropriate. However, I feel this one is pretty generic and it doesn't highlight much of what Jade has to offer. It really could have utilized her bow stab somewhere in there to make it stand out a bit more, or even make it more flashy. More I think about it, I think half of the roster could do this. A lot of them have bladed weapons and could easily do the same stuff. Of the 37 fatal blows, I found this one to be the most dull. Slightly edging out Jade is everyone's favorite character to hate in the NRS era of Mortal Kombat, D'Vorah. For how grotesque her fatalities are in this game, which you can check out above, her fatal blow is very underwhelming. With all of her weird bug powers, she just utilizes her extra arms to cut up the opponent over and over again. Sure, it's unique how she takes them to the air, but it really doesn't take much advantage of it. Sorry, D'Vorah, for how many abilities you have at your disposal that you didn't use, just kinda bugs me. Already at 35, and we're looking at our first of 5 guest characters, the Terminator. For how cool and iconic the T-800 is, this super comes off as pretty generic. Sure, it includes the thumbs up tribute, albeit kinda forced there, along with the Terminator mimicking a voice it heard, being Scorpion's "Get over here." The rest is pretty bland. It's a basic shot to the face, a face slam, and a headbutt. I feel it would have been cooler if he utilized some iconic scenes from the Terminator movie, maybe like the thugs from the first one where he punches a hole in their chest. I think that would have made it a lot cooler. Sorry, Terminator, this wasn't your judgment day.
Get over here!
This early on this list, and we're looking at the leader of the Combat Kids, Cassie Cage. For how flashy this one is, including the pistol whips and multiple shots, I feel this is a huge missed opportunity. I would have preferred her seeing some fun tag team action with her drone as they both take you down, rather than just relying on her pistols. Besides that, it's okay, but not really a memorable one. Alright, from this point on, these supers really jump in quality. I consider these to be loads better, at lowest a 7 out of 10. Just because it's low on this list does not mean it's bad, these will go from good to great. Just wanted to let you know before we moved on. So with that, let's continue. Moving up this list is the father of Cassie, Johnny Cage. This is a nice one, mixing some elements from MK9 and even MKX, the first half utilizing a lot of kicks and pulling the award out to stab the opponent. Where it includes just a guy doing flip kicks, at least it makes it unique by adding the Johnny Cage green energy to it. Great work from the A-list actor. And speaking of A-list actors, we're moving on to one of Sylvester Stallone's more iconic characters, John Rambo. This Green Beret has one of the more grounded supers, which focuses on his weapons he uses to draw first and last blood. Using his knife to slice them up, shoot them with an explosive bow is really cool. The most cringy part to watch is definitely the arrow going through their head. Also, great to see a super move with a massive explosion at the end. Move over, Freddy. Rambo's showing who's the worst nightmare here. I really hate to put my main this low, but number 31 goes to Sub-Zero. Hey, Sub-Zero gets 31 2 videos in a row, let's go. Though this isn't the most flashy or over the top like many of these supers are, this makes up for it for having a great flow and nice pace. Dual axes to the sides, a big axe to their face, pulling it down to grip them, flip them around and then slam them to the ground. Definitely could have used a reference to the Ice Spike finisher from MK Trilogy, but at least this one is still pretty good. Cracking like thunder at the 30th spot is the God of Thunder, Raiden. For how godly his last two supers were in Injustice 2 and MKX, this is a major step down. Probably because they wanted to tone it down a bit, that's just my guess. But at least they do something different by having him focus on his lightning staff to smack the opponent around. All of it flowing pretty nicely, but is pretty weak in comparison to the rest of the roster. Quite shocking to see this one so low on the list. Breaking into the 29th spot is one of my favorite characters in the entire series, Nightwolf. For how fun this character is in terms of gameplay, his super's pretty okay. It's cool how he utilizes his three more iconic weapons in his gameplay, his arrows, tomahawk, and electricity, all of which flowing really well and makes for a pretty brutal blow. This Native American warrior is the Shaman with his super. Tag teaming into the 28th spot is Boone Tobias's odd secret fighter, Noob Saibot. This all flows together nicely and captures Noob's trait of the Shadow Clone, teleporting, and his sickle really nicely. Though this feels like a combo you could pull off in the game, this all flows well and is shot nicely. Like a teleport snag, way to drop in and hook us in with a great super move. '27 comes from the Down Under with Kano. This Black Dragon leader definitely includes a lot of his character and charm into his fatal blow. Stabbing you multiple times in the gut, leaving the knife in, and then using it as leverage to stomp your face in is pretty unique and cool. I also love the little kick he does to the side, just showing how dirty of a fighter he is. Ending it with digging the knife deeper into your gut and then having a hidden blade stomp you into the neck. A whole lot of knife action with a whole lot of gore to boot, making this a fun one to watch. Number 26 goes to a character beloved by my good friend Lucas, RoboCop. This protector of OCP has a pretty okay startup and a second action, utilizing his Auto 9 pistol and his terminal strip to punch a hole in their chest. But what makes this one memorable is how Ed 209 comes in and lights them up to smithereens, capping it off with a massive body go boom explosion. I guess the opponent really should have complied to avoid something like this from happening. Having a bad hair day at 25 is Queen Sindel. It's really cool to see her use a lot of her elements in one super. Her scream to stun the opponent, the hair pulling them in to be stabbed, throwing them around, and even including a real nice ending with the stilettos to the eyes. We haven't seen something this cool like that since MK9 with Scarlet's X-Ray. All of this flowing really well, having a real nice sky moment where they get thrown in the air, then thrown back down to the ground. Overall, this one's pretty good. Not a screaming good one, but still pretty solid. Edging out above Queen Sindel is the Queen of the Shokan, Shiva. This is a huge improvement over her X-Ray from MK9 and utilizes her new weapon introduced in this title, her shield. With this, she messes you up worse than John Walker did to a Flag Smasher. Though the hits with the shield are brutal, I wish it included more classic Shiva staples, maybe ending with a stomp to the head or something like that. Overall, pretty good and brutal nonetheless. Taking another look at an Outworld representative, General of the Tarkata, Baraka. Equipped with his iconic arm blades, you knew this was going to create a bloody mess with his fatal blow. My favorite is actually the first action, where the opponent tries to stop the blade as it stabs through their hand, pinning it to their torso. The head stab is another great addition, however the last action with the flag is pretty okay. I feel it could have ended with a bite instead of getting too stabby. Still an extremely brutal one at the end of the day. No real red flags I have with this one, besides the one red flag Baraka puts down in the opponent. Entering number 22 on an Iron Throne is the Khanum of Outworld, Katana. This one is paced really well and has a good flow, starting with a fan throw and then kicking them deeper into their chest, going airborne after they bounce off the ground to stab them in the neck, ending it by stabbing them in the back of the head. All of this piecing nice together, albeit a bit too stabby for my liking. I feel it could have used an enhanced fan throw to chop apart their chest somewhere in there. Still a good one coming from the Khanum. At number 21, with the poster boy of the series, Scorpion. This character gave us the first glimpse of the fatal blow back at the 2018 Game Awards. It took until MK11's reveal to showcase its full glory, dare I say, gory. Slicing their face to stab you with both the kunai is an awesome start. Having it follow up by kicking them back and then pulling them back in with the chains, kicking the spears in deeper into their face, ending it by slamming their head into the ground and having the spears go into their face even more. As cool and well shot this is, it does focus a bit too much on the kunais going into the eyes. Maybe if the opponent flew away after the second action and then he teleported doing an Azuna drop to break their neck, I think that could have made it for a better ender. Still a great super that, like Scorpion Spear, chains well together. Marching on into the top 20 with the Aztec new Khan of Outworld, Kotal Khan. This war god really makes use of his weapons and abilities, opening with a flurry of slashes and lodging a blade into their head, following it up by reenacting cloud-stabbing Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, and then ending it with a totem smash. Where I love that the first two actions are bloody and really cool, I feel the totem smash could have been used to slam their head instead of hitting the sword deeper into their body. If that change was made, it could have bumped up a few more spots. Still a slamming good one though. Lacing up their combat boots, combat being spelt with a K at number 13, is Sonya Blade. Comparing this to her MKX Super, this is a glow up as this at least utilizes her weapons of combat. Using her military mixed fighting with her gauntlet to shoot through your chest with a gut punch is cool. Having her sentry gun light you up as she carries you closer to it is definitely the biggest highlight of this one, ending it with a very dirty stomp to the face after throwing them to the ground. Definitely one of the more memorable ones from this game, and at the MK11 reveal event, had the biggest impression. You don't want to mess with this decorated general. Driving in on his little red Corvette is Prince Rain. After having a pretty alright super from Mortal Kombat 9, he really improves on his second NRS outing with his fatal blow, including a roundhouse kick to the face, launching them upward and then stabbing them with his new Katar, and then ending it by manipulating the rain, turning it into spikes as he impales the opponent on their way down. Quite a unique and creative one. When it comes to this Prince's super, in comparison to many other airborne ones, nothing compares to you. Collecting their bounty at the 17th spot is the gunslinger of Outworld, Aaron Black. Way to utilize the guns in a cool way, throwing the coins up at the sky at the start, lighting up the opponent while paying tribute to old Western films. I also love how he just throws the gun at their face to have it bounce back, and then a perfect way to end it by doing a no-lick shot at the coins to have them ricochet into their eyes. All of this is shot super well and an ending on a real high note, sorry. To throw my 2 cents in the air, this one is really cool. The cold wind blows at 16 with the god of wind, Fujin. For a character we haven't seen playable since MK Armageddon, it was a treat to see Raiden's brother make a return, all in a bloody good fashion. I really like how his super takes advantage of his crossbow and his sword while mixing some fun wind elements in there too, flowing really nicely and making for a very gory super move. Happy to see him make a return, and I really hope we get to see him return in MK12 if we can get more flashy stuff like this as well. Dead sprinting into the 15th spot is the murderous speedster of the MK universe, Cabal. Happy to see that the brutal speedster takes advantage of his speed in innovating new ways to beat you up with his hook swords. The lightning fast strikes leading to a stab, the evisceration, and then ending with a hook through the mouth. Definitely an uncomfortable one to watch, but one that's fitting to the character. Like the character, it got us quickly hooked. Dancing their way with a smile on their face is the sadistic clown prince of crime, the Joker. Talk about a great way to include some iconic moments from multiple Joker moments. Stabbing the opponent crazy is a good start. Following it by literally putting a smile on their face is enough to make anyone cringe, and ending it with a reference to the death of Jason Todd, where Joker beats them with his cane and spraying blood all over the screen. Definitely one of the better guest character supers, no joke. Racing up their gauntlets at 13 is Jackie Briggs. In comparison to her MKX Super, this is a huge step up, dare I say upgrade. Instead of just punching the opponent to a pulp, Jackie takes advantage of her tech upgrades to give you the Urian treatment while beating you against a plasma shield. I love the bullet ricochet followed by kicking them through the wall. Like that, this one just kicks ass. Moving ahead to the Shaolin odd job of Mortal Kombat, Kung Lao. He does such an amazing job making the hat of his star in his super and fatalities in this game. I love the little reference to Ip Man with the flurry of punches in the beginning, kicking them into a spinning hat and then throwing them head first into it again. That will make anyone squirm while watching it. Definitely one of the bloodier ones in this whole game, but a visual treat to look at. So, hats off to you for a killer fatal blow. Narrowing ahead of Kung Lao is the other Shaolin monk of the series and champion of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. Where his first one pays tribute to his classic Shaolin uppercut fatality and his second being a fast-paced beatdown, this innovates more by referencing a classic fatality. Beating you with his nunchucks, equally skilled to Napoleon Dynamite, is really cool. Summoning a fire dragon to dig a big chomp out of you, referencing his best fatality from Mortal Kombat 2, and then ending it with a fiery punch to the gut. All of this including that Liu Kang charm and is paced very well, one that does not drag on. Entering the top 10 with the Elder God Cetrion. Opposite to her brother Shinnok, she's all about light and nature, to which she uses to absolutely obliterate the opponent. Summoning giant rocks, pinning you to a tree, and then burning them with a giant beam of light is all just really cool and unique, especially for Mortal Kombat. My favorite little part is where the opponent tries to brace themselves as the stones pin them to the giant giving tree. Not much else to say about this one, it just rocks. Ice sliding into the 9th spot is the Lin Kuei Dropout and the new era's cyberized fighter, Frost. With the cyberized enhancements, she really makes for a unique super move, creating massive ice weapons and sculptures to fly the opponent through and impaling them all around. Where I prefer Sub-Zero over Frost, this super is definitely way superior. Kudos to you, NRS team, for making a really cool super. Let's take the time to look at our 8th spot, Geras. This servant to Kronika uses time and the sands of time as his main weapon, which is extremely unique to the series. With the ability to slow time, this is definitely a standout. Having him move in real time while the opponent stays frozen in place is just so cool, leaving blood frozen in time and their facial expressions changing with each strike. One of the more visually beautiful ones to look at. No complaints with this one, it's just that cool. Entering number 7 is everyone's favorite female monster ninja, Mileena. While fans had been crying for her return in the final DLC pack, the opponent's really crying with all of the damage she's doing to them. Opening with Saberwolf's charging claw and then paying tribute to her side stab fatality with a neck bite. She greatly follows up with a side throw to the head, ending it by ripping their throat out. Oh dear God. For how brutal this one is, I feel like Austin Powers on this one.
Why won't you die?
Still, it's an amazing and extremely fitting super to the freaky femme fatale. It's absolutely breathtaking. Cutting into the 6th spot is the rumor-turned-real character, Scarlet. In MK11, they retconned her to now have blood telekinesis, where she can draw blood from the opponent and then weaponize it. This super highlights that in the perfect degree. Stabbing them multiple times to have blood spurt out and then shape it as a scythe is just super clever. She wastes no time and doesn't waste any blood before they fall to the ground, taking the blood and then turning it into a spear, throwing it into their face, which makes for a great impact shot of how brutal this is. All of this flowing super well into each action. Happy to see Scarlet is having a bloody good time with this one. Entering the top 5 with the last of the MK11 newcomers, the Collector. This 6-armed fighter really gets creative with this super, smacking them over the head with his lantern, following it by giving them the Julius Caesar treatment with a spray of Spawn dressing. The perfect way to cap this off is with a head stab and a neck slice, showing the Collector's delightfully devilish smile and the fear on the opponent's face. The Collector took a stab at it and made for quite a memorable super. Gotcha grabbing into number 4 is Jackson Briggs. This is a great way to reference what Jax is well known for. Dash punching into a gotcha grab, bunch of punches to the face, following it by grabbing them again and beating their gut, and then referencing their head clap fatality and shooting them point blank with his grenade launcher. Each action flows super well together, shot great, and it's absolutely brutal. And I also get a good laugh out of this one, and it's been one of my favorites since the game launched. Claps to you, Jax. Claps to you. Taking the bronze medal is the Conqueror of the Realms, Shao Kahn. This just shows the true might of a Khan by slashing the opponent with his spear, following it up with his signature rising shoulder. Instead of letting the opponent fly into orbit, Khan throws them back into the ring, stabbing them and pinning them to the ground and then capping it with a hammer smash to the head. Not sure how their head's still fully intact, but you know what, it's still brutal at the end of the day. All of this shot and paced so well, and it's easily one of the more brutal fatal blows in the entire game. Khan really brings the hammer down with this one, making for a very memorable super. Our runner-up comes from one of my favorite comic book characters, Spawn. Where his gameplay blended so much of his abilities, so does his fatal blow. Summoning his arsenal of guns to light up the opponent like an OCP board member is just a great start. I even love the little slow-mo part where you see a few of the bullets go through their head. I also love how he follows it up by summoning the arms of Malebolgia to rip their chest apart, ending it by slamming their head into the ground with a charged Necroblast in Spawn's hand. Somewhere, Todd McFarlane is grinning ear to ear with this one. This just captures so much of Spawn's charm and personality, on top of being extremely gory and shot very well, both literally and figuratively, all making for a devilishly great fatal blow. Shape-shifting into the number 1 spot is the main villain of Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath and one of my favorite villains of Mortal Kombat, Shang Tsung. As the shape-shifting sorcerer of the series, this super really highlights that about him, transforming into the 3 most iconic ninjas to beat you up, and performing one of their more iconic actions. Sub-Zero's Ice Slide with an icicle going through their eye, Scorpion's Spear while recreating the MK2 Fatality, and then ending it with Noob's Teleport Slam. All of these highlight actions are just perfectly paced. This fatal blow, like what Shang Tsung would do for a soul, is a real show stealer. And there you have it, all of the Mortal Kombat 11 fatal blows ranked from worst to best. This video has been a long time coming and I really hope the wait was worth it. With many of these Fatal Blows being absolutely amazing, let me know which one was your favorite. Also, do you prefer MK12 to have Fatal Blows or X-Rays? Be sure to let me know down below as well. All supers ranked is something I'm definitely going to continue moving forward, as I plan on covering more fighters down the line, such as Street Fighter 6 as we reach closer to the next installment. Don't worry, you're still going to be getting your fix of Mortal content. I'm currently drafting lists for characters who haven't had their finishers ranked, along with all friendships and brutalities ranked, so be sure to stay tuned for updates on those coming soon. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to you. We recently hit 22,000 subscribers earlier this month, and that's just a crazy thing to think about. Never would I ever thought we would make it here, but we did. Let's keep this growing as I plan to do YouTube for many years to come. Don't forget to show your support by dropping a like, subscribing, and sharing this with your friends. I'll be sure to post my content schedule in the community tab this Friday, so stay tuned there. As always, thank you so much for your continuous support. You are all amazing. My name is Nick, and don't forget to smile and have an amazing day.